This program is being implemented at John Jay High School and Anson Jones Middle School, the only two schools with the lowest attendance rate in the city. They're putting RFID tracking chips in kids' badges. They want to make it mandatory, and they want to make the rest of the school district pick it up. And there's 112 schools in that school district.
So they're starting with 2, but it's going to 112 schools.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Just in San Antonio.
Just in San Antonio, just in the NISD school district. They're making it mandatory that the kids have to wear it. If not, they cannot participate in certain programs at school. They cannot get their lunch or check out library books if they don't wear these badges.
If you have a child in public school, you go down and make your voice be heard and see what happens.
There has been a slow degradation of parental rights. They have slowly dictated that they have more control within the schools than you do within the home.
The way this has come about is this idea that once a child is dropped off at a school, they enter the doors of that school, that then the parental rights evaporate. And that parent has no say over what their child will be taught, what their child will be exposed to.
The book is called Asha's Moms, or Mums, really.
Okay, we'll take comments and questions at the end of the story. Here we go. Asha's Moms. You can't have 2 mommies, Judy insisted. Yes, she can, Rita said, turning around in her seat. Just like you have 2 aunts and 2 daddies and 2 grandmas, yelled Diane from across the room. Diane likes to yell.
So what happened here?
And that parent has no say over what their child will be taught, what their child will be exposed to.
What we've seen over the last 40 to 50 years is continual legislative and judicial overreach going into areas that we never thought they would reach into.
The government has a role, but it's not the role of a partner. It's the role of a backstop. If you abuse your kids, if you neglect your kids, and they have evidence of that, the government moves in, and they should move in those circumstances. But when they treat all of us as if we're child abusers, that's absolutely outrageous, and we can't stand for it.
Karl Marx said that in order to establish a perfect socialist state, you have to destroy the family. You have to substitute the government and its authority for parental authority in the rearing of children.
Pregnancy rates are stepping over the line. That's the debate going on after the Department of Education began letting city schools give out the morning after pill to students. Hillary Whittier live in the Bronx with more on this. Hillary.
That's right. Good morning. Well, students here at the Adlai Stevenson High School, along with about 13 other schools around the city, can get the Plan B or morning after pill if they just ask for it. It's all part of the Department of Education's pilot program that, get this, has been going on for the past year. It's just leaking out now. We're just now getting word of it. And because of a pilot program like this, the emergency contraception Plan B will be stocked inside about a dozen city schools. The DOE says the idea is to fight against teen pregnancy. And with this program, Plan B and other forms of birth control will be given to girls without telling their parents, though. That's the kicker, unless parents opt out after getting an informational letter. So far, the DOE says only 1 or 2% of parents have done that. The city schools have been giving out free condoms to teens for years, but this is the first time that they've given out Plan B to prevent pregnancy after unprotected sex. Obviously, this is sparking a lot of questions, a lot of controversy. It's a big talker story this morning, and most people are saying, is the Department of Ed just going a little bit too far, or is this justified? We're live in the Bronx. Hillary Whittier, Pix 11 News.
Sing a song, sing out loud, sing out strong, sing of good things, not bad, sing of happy, not sad, sing. Sing a song, make it simple to last your whole life long.
Okay, I am pulled up. They normally load children right here. There's 2 other vehicles in front of me. They've yet to bring Mercy out. Mercy. Your name? Your name? So you're not going to allow me to pick up my child? In a normal manner?
No, because
No.
you do not have a decal.
Okay, is that
That's
decal
why-
required by the board?
That's why you park and come in.
Can you have Keelan come out here?
He's right down there.
Okay, he can come over here then.
He is right down there.
Okay, so he can walk over here then.
Well, he's directing traffic right now.
Okay.
Sir, if you understand.
I do understand.
Here he is. Mr.
Thank
Stewart.
you.
Mr. Stewart, you're going to have to go in if you don't have a decal.
Okay.
That's just the bottom line.
Okay. That's the bottom line.
Yes, sir. That's the bottom line.
Okay. So you're going to, so you want a legally armed citizen to walk into your schoolhouse to pick up their daughter?
You can't take the gun in, but you're going to
exactly. That's why I'm here.
You're going to have to park and go inside if you don't have a decal. We've had this discussion with your wife about it. It's just what we have to do.
And I just got off the phone with the school board, and they understand exactly where I'm coming from.
You're going to have to park and come inside. That is for the safety of your child as it is for everybody else.
Okay, and so that child's just as safe as and all.
Sir, I'm not going to argue. This is what you're going to have to do. We do it with everybody. We've been doing it for an entire month. You've got this whole line backed up. Okay, this is for the safety of your child. We've been doing this from the very beginning, starting September 1. Okay, it's not a big deal, but you're going to need to do this.
It is a big deal when a situation like the other day happened.
Look, this is what we've got to do. Okay, now if you want to go in the office and talk about it, I'd be glad to talk with you in the office about it. But these folks want to go as well. Okay, I'm not treating you any different we do everybody else.
No, but the lack of common sense here is astounding. Got that all on recording. I will be going inside. About to be in the office. Come with me. Okay. Come here.
I'm sorry that you
Door's
disagree.
not locked, correct?
No, sir, it's not.
Thank you.
I'm not going to be in here and lock behind a locked door with you. You and I have always gotten along well.
Yes, sir, but let me explain something.
Okay.
I believe it was Wednesday. My wife, her mother, came up here in my mother-in-law's van, which is not the normal vehicle we pick up the children with. I was at work.
Right.
My wife's van was broke down. Had to expediently jump in another vehicle to come and get her. This child drove by, saw her mother out there, upset in the office, and the lack of common sense was not used out there going, circumstance, let it go.
But we let it go at the very beginning of the
Justify. Yeah, the very first time it happened because the school failed to send the placard.
We'd sent him home several times.
No, the school failed to send the placard.
I'm not going to argue with you.
You're right, there's no argument. I know when they hit my house and they went into the vehicle.
Well, here's the thing. I'm treating you no different we do everybody else, Mr. Stewart. Everybody has to have one. You've got to have one or you got to park and come inside. It's just that simple.
How is it for the safety of the children?
Because when my folks are looking for decals, they don't put a child in a vehicle without a decal. That way they know that that person has the right to pick that child up.
Okay,
now, we know
but on that day, they turned around before even speaking to my wife, called her up. When I pulled up, they knew.
They let it slide that day. Why today?
How is it any different?
We have told
No,
you.
they did not let it slide the other day. My wife had to come in here and get hers.
Okay. Then, so y'all know the rule. So why not just park and come on in today?
I knew the rule right well before I come here.
Then why not just park and come inside?
Why? This is what I'm not understanding here. Why the lack of common sense in situations
Because
like that?
if it happens, we do it one time for everybody.
You have not done it with us.
The very first day that we did.
When it was your fault, the school's fault for not sending it home.
Not going to argue with you.
You're right, you can't.
Here's the deal. Everybody has to do it. Y'all got to do it. You knew you didn't have one. You knew the rule. You could have parked and come on in, been done and gone. If we let you not do it, then the next person thinks they don't have to have one. Then the next person thinks they don't have to have one. Then the next person thinks they don't have to have one. Eventually, nobody has one because we're letting everybody get them without one. So it's as simple as it gets with that. We're not treating you any different than we do anybody else. We want to make sure that the person picking up that child has the right to get that child. My staff knows that if they don't see a decal, they have to make that person come inside. We've already had one person who tried to pick up a child without a decal. If the staff gets used to letting somebody go without a decal, they say, oh, well, somebody knows that's okay to let them go. So they don't do that. If they don't have a decal, they cannot pick up a child without having to come inside.
And you don't see the flaw in your theory?
No, sir, I do not.
School board seems to.
I've
had that discussion with
superintendent
today prior to coming.
Okay, that's fine. Superintendent and I have already talked about this. I already spoken with the board about it. They understand and they support me. And if you disagree with me, you're welcome to go and see the board. But until I'm told different, that's what legally.
Normal, traditional rules of parents' rights are still in place, that parents get to make decisions for their children in areas of education, their upbringing, medical care, the whole gamut of parental decision-making.
The vast majority of Americans believe that moms and dads should be able to parent as they see fit. But what they don't understand is there's no legal right that allows them to do so.
The Supreme Court of the United States, throughout the history of the nation, has always treated that right of a parent to raise their child as what we call in the law fundamental.
When I realize and learn that something that I thought was a fundamental right is not a fundamental right, that is deeply troubling. When we surveyed last year in a Zogby poll over 2,000 people, over 90% of Americans agree with the definition of traditional parental rights, which is that we have the right to direct the upbringing and education of our children as we see fit.
93% of Americans really thought that that was a good idea politically. They're going to be surprised to learn what the courts are actually doing.
For the first time in American history, a majority of the Supreme Court no longer treats the parent's right to control and direct the upbringing of their child as a fundamental liberty.
The problem with explaining parents' rights to a person as compared to free speech rights, free speech, you say, go look in the First Amendment, there it is. But for parents' rights, there's no place to go look. You have to go read a bunch of Supreme Court decisions to see how they found it, what they've done to it in the meantime, and it's an evolving standard. That's the problem.
There are people each and every day who are scheming to take away parental rights to start to destroy the family structure.
We now have a new situation where government itself becomes the standard, and who's ever in power gets to say what your liberty is.
Without actual constitutional text, our basic parental rights can be completely written off in the hands of the wrong people.
The